All right, folks, so welcome back to the Wanneroo channel. So today we are going to take a look at the Highwild AR500 target system with 6-inch gong and 7x12-inch torso. In the spring, I reviewed a Highwild target system that I use for pistol. It ended up working out very well. In fact, the other day was just pounding the crap out of it with 44 Magnum. And yeah, it's just, I've been just mega happy with it. So anyways, I was just kind of browsing around, and I wanted something else for the range for rifle. And so one of the things I had run into before with, you know, buying stuff for a gong and all that sort of thing is, you know, going out and, you know, to Lowe's and getting all these materials and drilling stuff and cutting stuff and all that. And basically I just wanted something that I could just, you know, essentially put together, kind of a gong type system. And so this is kind of the first part of it, because I think I'm eventually going to get another gong setup. So been kind of doing a lot of work on my range to kind of expand it and add more steel targets and other targeting systems and all sorts of stuff to, you know, kind of juice it up a bit. So this is one of the things I was looking at. So this is, we're going to take a look at this. So we'll get the box open and have a peek. Okay, so the stand itself, pretty much it comes mostly assembled. You have these poles that click in with little buttons right there. So pretty easy for that, no problems. I guess also down there you could see there's also holes there where you could get the same size pipe with little steel tabs and basically extend it higher if you wanted to. So it made it sound like in the literature Highwild sells those, so that's always an option too. This right here is probably, I don't know, 3 feet from the ground, I'm thinking. So, you know, that's decent enough. That'll work just fine for me. So I don't need to do any extension there, so that'll be fine. Then we got all the hardware out. So we have our AR500 gong, and I guess these are 3/8 inch. So usually myself, I prefer to shoot about 1/2 inch for rifle, but we'll give these a try and see how they actually hold up. And then we have our bigger kind of IDPA shaped target there, 7 inches wide, 12 inches tall, and our 6-inch wide gong, and then all the hardware here. So with the hardware, there's definitely a lot of stuff to kind of put together when it comes to that for the gong, the way they have this set up. So, you know, essentially have to go through the I'm sure it won't be too bad, but just the whole puzzle piece there, putting all that stuff together and getting that all sorted correctly. So yep, so that'll probably take a little bit, but yeah, we'll get it done. So we'll just start working on it and get going with it. Okay, so we got the first one assembled. Yeah, looks pretty close to the instructions there. I guess you can leave a gap between those two nuts there. I guess, I don't know. It's not really super clear in the instructions, so not really sure about that, but I guess we'll just roll with that for now. Everything's kind of relatively tight. So basically there's a lot of hardware that comes with it, but what I did was I just kind of laid everything out ahead of time, and it's pretty easy to put together. So no worries. So just got to get this hung and put all those bolts together on the rack there. And so I got these 2 bolts right here to do. So I'll do those. And then the other target here, I got to do the exact same thing that I did to this one. So just need a 9/16 basically to get it all together. So yeah, pretty easy overall. So you shouldn't have any trouble really. All right, so we got everything together. So I ended up moving these out kind of more similar to the little drawing in the instructions. So by doing that, you end up with the target kind of at a, can't really maybe see it as well with the camera here, but it's not kind of at a straight up and down angle. It's kind of got a slight angle to the back, of course, so that way whenever you shoot, it's gonna, you know, basically deflect everything down towards the ground. Well, that's the idea anyways. So just needed 2 9/16 wrenches for that to get that all tightened down, and then we're having some nice fall sun through the window of the barn here, so getting a little sunshine, which is good. But and then you need 2 1/2-inch ones here for this setup right here. So yeah, pretty easy. It's not all that difficult. So just 2 1/2-inch wrenches and then 2 9/16 wrenches to get all that squared away there. So yeah, looking pretty good. So now I just need to get the other one all done, and we should be good to go. Okay, so the sun has pretty much set, and we're out here after dinner, just finishing this off. Everything pretty much went fine except for one of the nylock nuts, the 9/16. As you can see, there's no nylon in there. So it's a faulty nut. So what I did was I just grabbed another regular nut out of the collection in the barn with a lock washer and put that on. So hopefully that'll hold. If not, I can go to Tractor Supply and just get a 9/16 nylock. But as I mentioned before, you can kind of see how these are designed to kind of angle down slightly. So, and as I mentioned in a previous video, my preference is 1/2-inch for shooting rifle. These are 3/8 inch, so you know, apparently they're rated for that. We'll give that a go and try it. You know, again, I prefer the 1/2-inch, but we shall try it out and see how it goes. Other than that, no real issues. You know, got everything assembled. Everything's looking good. The stand is, you know, pretty sturdy. I like the fact that basically all the pieces come with it, and you know, can just click it all together, and you know, we're good to go. I don't have to go to Lowe's and buy all this pipe and cut it and drill it and all that other stuff, and so I kind of appreciate that. So that just makes my life easier. Anyways, so yeah, I'm liking the looks of it. So anyways, once we get a chance, we're going to take this up, get it all set up, and we're going to start shooting it, and we'll see how it goes. So we're going to hammer it. You know, probably shoot it with some 308. I think it's rated for that. I'll double check, but I believe it is. 308, 300 blackout. We'll hit it with that and see how it goes. All right, so see you in the next bit. All right, folks, so you can see from the last part of the video there, we ran into a little bit of an issue when we started shooting 308 at it. We had this target here on the left dancing around a bit too much. So I thought about what to do, and someone made a good suggestion to me. They're like, hey, just take some hose, wrap it around the chain. That'll keep the chain from bouncing around as much and flying around as much. So what I did was I went to Lowe's, and for $3, just over $3, you can get this foam insulation that goes around copper plumbing pipes, and it has like a little seal basically with little piece of plastic you pull off, like some adhesive basically. And I just got the inch wide diameter, wrapped it around the chain, and that has worked pretty well. And I think part of the problem is that I'm not shooting straight on at the target. So basically I'm shooting uphill a fair bit, and there's really nothing that I can do about it. It's just the mountain. So the mountain dictates kind of the angle of things. So we're shooting uphill a little bit, and I actually surveyed this, and I can't remember how big of a rise it is, but it is a little bit that we're shooting uphill. So I think because we're kind of shooting uphill, it was causing that target kind of to head in that direction and basically loop around itself. But probably if you're shooting at it head on, you won't have as much of an issue with it. Or if you're shooting one of their heavier targets, that might help as well. But yeah, $3 of that foam insulation wrapping around that chain seems to work pretty good. And so far I've been happy with that as a solution. So if for whatever reason it gets shot up in the future, or the weather gets to it, it's another couple bucks just to go ahead and put some more on there. No big deal. Okay folks, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. And after 8 months now, it's been about 8 months, 8 or 9 months, I guess, maybe about 9 months now since we first got this target. So from putting it together now to using it quite a bit here in the season. And how did it all turn out? Well, pretty good overall. First thing, the stand itself. I've been very happy with the stand. If you do want to take it with you somewhere, it does have the push tabs where you can take the legs out if you so desire. For me, this stand will pretty much just be sitting here probably year round. So, I don't really need to move it, but if you need the kind of something portable, this does, like I said, have those tabs where you can do that. The legs themselves have held up pretty good. One thing I do whenever I get finished using it is I just coat everything in Rust-Oleum. And and so far doing pretty good. No big issues with it. So the stand itself, compared to a lot of other stands that I've seen, this one here seems pretty well designed. Overall, the hardware doesn't seem too bad at all. For the price point, I think it's pretty decent. So happy with that. The targets themselves, there's a little bit of a marking there from the copper jacket, but there's like no pitting on the target at all. So I've been shooting it with 308, 300 blackout. And yeah, the steel has held up just fine. So, you know, no problems there with that at all. It's done what it's supposed to do, and you know, no issues. So very happy with that. One thing I would probably do next time is, if I order this package again with this stand, is I would go for the bigger, heavier targets. That would be my preference, to put a little bit more weight on the chain. I got pretty much like the smallest target, I think, that they offer, and it tends to bounce around a bit, which I solved with the foam insulation there. But you know, the steel has held up. It's worked just as good or even better than some of the AR500 steel I've shot from other manufacturers. So absolutely no complaints there. 8 months in, doing what it's supposed to do. So, you know, if it holds up for 4 or 5 years, I'll be pretty happy with that. And, you know, then can move on, recycle it, replace it with something else. So that has worked pretty good. The chain itself seems to be okay. The chain, I don't think, like a lot of the chain, is not really designed to be shot, but I did try to cut some of it with the smaller bolt cutters, and could not get through it. So it seems to be stout enough. Haven't had any issues with shooting the chain or anything like that, you know, in terms of my marksmanship. So as far as I know, it hasn't taken any rounds, but you know, so far after all these months, seems to be holding up okay. So no problems with that. So overall, very happy with it, and I would buy it again. I would just get the heavier targets. The foam insulation that I bought at Lowe's to put around the chain there, that reduced the amount of bouncing around the chain was doing with the distances I'm shooting it at, and also basically the angle of the mountain kind of shooting uphill a bit. It was just kind of causing that chain to bounce around too much. But, you know, basically for $3, pretty much nipped that problem in the bud. So, you know, there you go. If that foam craps out, I can just spend another $3 and, you know, and basically do it back up. So yeah, overall, very happy with it, and would get it again. If you're interested in purchasing it, you can check out my Amazon Associates link below. It does kick back a small commission to the channel. So if you'd like to support the channel, that's a good way to do it. And the more support we get, the more reviews that we do. And I appreciate everyone watching the video. And we'll see you next time. We've got a lot of interesting stuff coming up.